Hello, welcome to Tale of Four Gamers, Warhammer 40k edition, the little-known game, Warhammer 40k. Hi, the four gamers, including me. Hi, the other three gamers.
Hello.
Yes, so this is Tale of Four Gamers.
Hello.
What we do here is that we build armies in sort of in sync, and then we do things with them. Right now, we're building Warhammer 40k armies because it's a game that we haven't actually played for a while because we're too busy playing other games like Heresy. This time, we have played Kill Team, we have played Combat Patrol. We're about to go up to about 1,000-point armies, and then we'll keep building from there. And we're playing the Badab War while we do it. And running some events. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk through what we've been up to recently, particularly Salute, which we all went to, and we're going to talk through our progress. These are the other gamers. I'm Ian, obviously. To this side, to this side is Russ. Hello, Russ. Down there is Bobbie, and on this corner is Gary, and all their various medias are in the thing below. So we'll get into some important news and messages as soon as we get back from this. We are back. Welcome, Tale of Four Gamers. Yeah, we're going to go through our updates, go through what we all got at Salute this year, which just happened last week. And I got a press pass, so I have to talk about it. And then we're going to go through some community updates because, as is usual on this channel, in the Discord, the Arbiterian Discord, people have been building Badab armies along with us and then coming to events. So that's what we'll do. But before we start, we have news. Yes, that's right, news. And today's news has a new thing in it. First news. Look, I've said this a few times. We've moved Tale of Four Gamers to a new channel. If you're not a liker or a subscriber, please like and subscribe to the channel. It is Arbiterian's Precinct House, which is, you can see just there. This has Tale of Four Gamers and Book Club on it, and all the lore videos are still on the old channel. So make sure you liked and subscribed. This might have just popped up in your feed anyway. Second item of news. There we go. Look. There are events. When we've done the stages of the Badab War in the past, we have been doing little events at the end of each stage and then playing through. We did a Kill Team event. We did a Combat Patrol event. It's fair to say that booking 3 more full-size 40k events, which require a lot more table space, anywhere near to the 4 of us over summer for 3 more phases has proved difficult. So we've started our own gaming center temporarily. Russ and I are sort of running a lot of events there, aren't we, Russ? You're doing some stuff.
Well, I'm doing it. I'm doing 2 so far, and possibly a one-day thing for a third one. But we'll see how the others go.
Yeah, and then Gary might do something. Might do a bit of Blood Bowl there.
Yeah, a bit of Blood Bowl, Dungeon Bowl.
Yeah. Dungeon Bowl. But basically, we've got this space for 3 months from mid-May till mid-September. We're going to use it as an excuse to get all our terrain together and set up a load of tables. And then for 3 months, we can just use it for whatever we like. So if you are near London and you want to come to play Badab War, I have put all 3 events up on it now. The link is in the description below. You can book places. Or you can book 1-day tickets or 2-day tickets for each of the weekends. We have 3 up. The first is Phase 4 of Badab, which is 1,000-point armies or boarding actions, whichever you like. This next event, which will be June, is 1,500-point armies. And the final event in July will be 1,500-point armies, but we'll do some mega battles because we'll do the Siege of the Palace of Thorns. And by the end of summer, we would have played Badab. So there. Russ also has at least 1 Heresy event up right now. There'll be another up for July, and there'll be some Blood Bowl events coming too. So yeah, if you'd like to come down and play with us in London, click the link in the description below and you can come and play at our events in our gaming centre. One more bit of news, which is that if you would like to enter the competition, there is, of course, a competition up on the Patreon for Patreons and members. And the prize this month is Tolgar Split Eye, the Warhammer commemorative Age of Sigmar model. I've been emptying the loft again, so there's a little competition up there. Check out the Patreon and the YouTube membership scheme if you want to win one. We will announce the winners in the next episode of this. Yes, so that's all the messages. Hello, gang. How are you all?
Good, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. We've had a fun week. It's one of the few weeks that we actually all saw each other in person.
Yeah.
Even Bobbie came down and we all went to salute, which is really nice. So we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, otherwise the development's been quite fun. We've been building Badab models. Everyone's got a bit of progress. Russ has a fair amount. Gary has loads because he started a new army. We've also obviously been putting in plans in place for this gaming center. I feel like I've got to do a video called like starting your own gaming club or starting your own gaming center and make out that it's way bigger and more important than it actually is.
There is a lot of admin and stuff.
I think
so much admin.
I think it's fair to say that only like the hardest working, most intelligent, and most dedicated people who like stress can set this sort of thing up.
It's true.
Need to stop other people doing it too.
Yeah. No one else should do this, at least until August when we lose the space. It's been quite fun actually. Basically, what happened is my work, my office, the studios that I rent an office from for work. Have some empty offices, and they were like, "Well, since they're empty, we'll give them to you for a massively cut down rate because you're already on our systems and you're already paying rent and rates and all that, just to keep them full until they can rent them." So for 3 months, we have done a short-term let on one of the rooms, which is big enough for we think 12 tables, and that means we can run events, which is really nice. It also means we can get all our terrain out. So a lot of Salute has been about terrain building. But yeah, we all went to Salute, didn't we? We've been to Salute 2025. I feel like, right, I'm having flashbacks to when we did this last year and I had to explain Salute. So does someone else apart from me want to explain what Salute is?
Yeah, I'll do it. Right. Salute has sort of two elements to it. One element is lots and lots of vendors there. So, for example, Element Games had a big area. Warlord Games and those sort of companies have big areas there. Zinj, Anvil Industries. And one of the comments I did want to make actually on that note was that there was a lot of the smaller companies back again this year. I think for a year or two, especially after COVID, there stopped being those little stalls of like one or two people working together. I
should just jump in and go, it's sort of a convention stroke trade show that happens in London once a year. Broad picture. Yeah, that's what it is.
Half of it is the vendors. The other half I'll come to in a sec is the people with displays and display games and participation games. But in terms of the vendors, it's a big draw because you get a lot of the really important, a lot of the well-known vendors come. And one of the things that I really liked was the fact we have got a return of all those like small independent companies. And I think a lot of that is down to 3D printing.
Yeah.
For a few years, we didn't have any of those sort of people, those sort of groups of people who are doing resin casting in their shed or whatever. They seem to vanish for a while, which I thought was a huge shame. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But in terms of the other side of it is a lot of display games and participation games. And once again, they seem to have stepped up again this year after dropping off for a couple of years. There was a lot of really impressive boards there. And there's always been at least some, but last year there seemed to be only a few. And this year there seemed to be a lot of impressive, almost like feats of engineering rather than just display boards. And a lot of time and effort gone into them, especially a lot of the historicals. But another thing that I noticed this year was a lot of the, this sounds a little bit disparaging. I don't mean it this way, like the cute games. And I kind of want to talk about Harefoot Jousting, but I'll actually leave that for Gary. But other ones would be Moonstone, which I know you've... Huge
Moonstone stand.
You've got a lot of models from. There's Arc World. There's there's another one, Badgers and Burrows. Burrows and Badgers.
Yep.
And there was another one this year that it's just escaped my head. But it feels like this year I didn't quite have the time or the energy to join in with as many of the opportunities I would have liked. But it felt like a bit of a return to form this year from my perspective, certainly.
It's like a regular fixture of the London like wargaming event scene. One of the big things I noticed is that they've kind of doubled in size since the last time I went, which was 2 years ago. In the last time I went, it was one hall of the XL Centre, which is a big conference centre in London. And it was like rammed. You were shoulder to shoulder with people a couple of years ago. And then apparently last year they doubled in size. I didn't go. This year they've rented 2 halls, so it's twice as big. And it felt nice. Like it felt nicely busy. You're right. There were loads of display games. There were a load of vendors. Some the big ones you'd expect, Wayland Games, Element Games, some of the bigger board gaming companies. And then also loads of little ones. I always like that Salute always has a few of Jeff's liquids that he makes in his shed or something, or Bill's brushes or something like that.
It's the reason to go as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Buy on the internet anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And you find new things that you've not tried. And there was loads of fun game boards, but they were all nicely spaced out and it never felt too busy. It wasn't like the other big thing I go to at XL is Comic-Con, and that is rammed.
Yeah.
Gary, you went on a whole fucking shopping spree.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The bigger sort of size shows, I think the number of people may be about the same.
Yeah.
Whenever sort of you get into the stalls, previously I've got memories of being barged by backpacks and stuff. I didn't really feel that this time, so
yeah,
it seemed
There's
like
a little bit of that,
more,
but not as bad as it sometimes has been.
Yeah, a little bit more space that did make a big difference. Maybe space between the aisles so that when people are at one thing, you've got an alleyway to get past them,
Yeah. It was just, I felt it was a really, and one of the nice things, I was chatting to Byron from Element Games and Artis Opus, and we were saying how when we've got UK Games Expo coming up as well, which is the other option. It's the one where there's no space to move. And he found that he was very, very busy doing demos all day, because part of the reason is because there's enough space that you can see where his stand is and see that he's doing demos and then go and queue up for the next one. Whereas when you're at Games Expo, when it's such a tightly packed thing, it's hard to even find the person doing the demos because you can't see them through all the crowds. So yeah, it was, the spacing was quite nicely done. Good selection of different sorts of stuff there as well. Bit of RPGs, still quite a lot of historicals, and then all the usual little games. We should mention that some hate friends of ours have started a new game, which they actually, the weekend of Salute, they reached their Kickstarter goal. It's called 1918, and it is a 28mm World War I historical game. So Sam and the gang from Hate have started that. They literally just reached their Kickstarter goal. So we went and had a look at their game, and that'll be out soon. They had just got books ready, so they had something to demo on their little trench board, which is really, really nice. So yeah, that's what we've been doing with our weekend. We've all seen each other quite recently. We probably should have all recorded this when we were together, but we were far too busy either looking for weird little terrain and goblins or being in the pub afterwards. So let's start though with our updates. In our updates this week, we're not only going to talk about Badab, we're going to start with talking about what we bought at Salute, which is a great way to show everything. So, Russ, you were absent last time. You were replaced by Nathan. What did you get at Salute?
Yeah, I heard the last episode was shit, but I didn't watch it. Because, why would I?
It's the highest rating.
Thanks, Nathan. Yeah, I'm sure he did a better job than me. At Salute, I actually went there for once with a very strict shopping list. Normally, I have a pile of money in my pocket and the aim to spend it on random stuff. But this year, I had a shopping list because I'm trying to be sensible. And I desperately wanted 2 battle mats. But the only people really selling battle mats were Deep Cut, and they didn't have the mats I wanted. One of them, it wasn't quite the color I thought it would be. And the other one, they didn't have the size. So I've actually gone online and bought a couple from P-Works in Italy, and hopefully they'll look right when they arrive.
Yeah, this is going to become a bit of a theme for your trips to Salute, isn't it? I was looking for this and they didn't have it.
Yeah, because the next one was I wanted the Pegasus Hobbies Gothic buildings.
Yeah.
And they didn't have them either. And Pegasus, I've seen them at Salute loads of times in the past, but Element didn't have them, and Wayland didn't have them, and whoever else didn't have them, and nobody had them. So I came home and the same evening went online, and they already arrived Monday. And I got myself the 3 buildings that, and I already had the ruins and one of those, one of the other buildings anyway. So I cut all of the different bits off of all of their tabs and everything and piled them up in the floor in this room, which is starting to turn into Bobbie's bedroom. Actually, I've realised. I'm now filming constantly from what I'm starting to think of as Bobbie's bedroom. Anyway, I put them all together on the floor. And I kept rearranging them until I came up with what turned into a massive, bloody, great big cathedral. And kind of feel like, yeah, that's what I wanted. So I realized that would be too much for one table unless I was literally playing a game about that table. But nevertheless, I figured, well, I can take 2 of those bits and put them on a board, and that will give 2 big bits that I can put like smaller bits around. So that could probably be the basis of 2 tables worth of Gothic terrain. So the job I've done today is to build a couple of the bits carefully and get rid of mold lines and stick them together and actually glue them together. And then last job I managed to do today was to plan out laying them out so I can get all of them onto some 5mm thick styrene sheets and glue them to that for stability, so that we can use them without fear of them disintegrating at the Prometheum tank.
Prometheum tank, the game center we've definitely set up with this purpose in mind. Yeah, exactly.
So I've cut off all the bits, so that's in progress. I need to sort of tile the floors and put some rubble and stuff on the floors. That'll be the next job. So the first bit, I've got some photos there of it. It looks it's quite nice. I think it's bigger than it looks in the photos. Actually, that's a fairly sizable coffee table, but it's a lovely centerpiece for a table to make you feel like the table's got a theme.
Yeah,
I've got a bunch of the old, I think it was 3rd edition 40k terrain that it can go with, and an old citadel wood and a couple of chapels and stuff that can go on the table. So I'll paint it in the same way. Probably the bit I'm actually most proud of, even though it wasn't the most work. I had some what appear to be coffins, but I've decided they're actually plinths for some leopards to stand on. Mm-hmm. I had some toy leopards that came in a job lot, and I thought, right, you know what they're perfect for? Bronze statues of leopards. Yeah. They all look identical anyway. The last job I need to do, I've just remembered I haven't done it yet. I need to polish whichever side each plinth is going to go. I need to polish one of the paws that people rub for good luck, and polish the noses and the end of the tail, so it looks as if people walk past and get good luck by rubbing the nose and tail and paws of the, of the leopards. So that I'm quite happy with how this table's shaping up. I hope it'll look good on the P-Works board.
Yeah, and
so
then you did.
That's 1 or 2 tables for the Prometheum tank. Yeah,
and then you did actually buy some terrain.
No, I actually did buy some terrain. Beowulf Miniatures are doing 3D printing, and I got this little lot for a very decent price. So I decided, well, I'll buy all of that because that will then complete a desert board I've got that has very little line of sight blocking terrain.
Yeah.
So this will do enough to make that board not as wide open as it otherwise would be, and complete that table. And probably leave enough left over that I could buy the same stuff again and do a 4th table of that. Yeah. So I've got a bunch of junkyard stuff as well, and I'm looking at being able to do 4 or 5 tables worth of terrain. 2 very soon, like 2 I could do already, but need to add some highlights to it, and then fairly soon I'll be able to get up to 4 or 5 tables worth of terrain with at least 3 and probably more mats to go with it by then. So I'm excited about all that.
That's been a big subject of discussion for us over the last few weeks is how we're putting together our terrain. I'll be going back to my parents' loft, which is where all my old stuff is stored, this weekend to basically take into the van every box of terrain I've ever built and figure out what I've got and what I still need. But otherwise, the 3D printer has been running very, very hot for the last week, building Necromunda terrain and things like that. But I think we're going to be fine. It's interesting. It's finally an excuse to get all that out of the loft.
Quite exciting though, actually, just getting ready for it, let alone actually doing it. So I've been writing an event pack for the Heresy games I want to do as well, and that's coming along. I've got good ideas what I want to do for each mission. I just need to fine tune them and play test them on you lot.
Yeah. Great. Well, we're going to have plenty of evenings to do that because we'll have an entire gaming centre permanently set up. We don't even need
to pack away, so we can finish and then just go straight home without even packing away.
Exactly. Yeah. You just come back whenever you want and play. For 3 months, and then anyway. But you've also had a Badab update. You've been doing some Badabbing too, Russ.
Yeah. So last update, I think I'm 99% sure I already showed the first 5 Terminators here, but they're going to form the core of my my list for what we're doing next, because I realized Lamentor's, Executioners and Mantis Warriors that I have lots of, I can use them more reasonably in other games anyway. So I decided for the rest of this campaign to switch to Astral Claws. Like literally my subheading on Daka Daka used to be the Tyrant of Badab when I used to actually go there a lot and give them money. So I want to be the Tyrant of Badab, I've decided. So I've got more Terminators to go with the squad I've already done. So I'll turn my captain into a sergeant and add 4 more. That should be relatively painless to get them up to a decent amount. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, they need something to fly around in. So I've had a Cestus assault ram that I've owned for a very long time that I've finally got fully assembled, ready for some other paint than just, bare grey. Yeah, so that'll be lovely silver and blue, as it should be, from the Badab books. It's the reason I wanted one, was seeing the Astral Claws one in the Badab books.
Yeah.
Then it's Luft Huron, so I need some Iron Hunters. So I've got some bikers. That's a 10-man squad, including whatever combat bike
characters and things. Yeah.
Then I'll do a command squad, which is it's all built. Just need to spray some of it. Some of it's sprayed, some of it's not. And then finally, I'm going to chuck in an assault squad because, again, I've had these models lying around. And what I realised was I had to rip off all the arms because I had to get in with a scalpel to scrape off all of their chest aquillas, because whilst they would have still been wearing at the start of this, by the end of it, I think they'd have all gotten rid of their Imperial iconography.
Well, they're the true Imperiums, really. But surely they're in the service of the God Emperor, Russ.
Well, they're in the service of the God Emperor, but not the Imperium. So if they're going to wear anything, they'd have worn his fist and lightning bolt symbol.
Oh, yeah.
Not that hypocritical double-headed eagle of the High Lords of Terror.
Right. No Imperialis.
Yeah. So that's looking about 1,500 to 1,600 points according to the Liber Badab for the Heresy reskin.
Which we're not playing. Which we're not playing.
Which we're not playing.
No.
But God knows how many points this will actually be in modern 40k. Hopefully that's at least 1,000 points in modern 40k. I don't even know if I have a way of using the Cestus Assault Ram, because it's entirely possible there's nothing with rules remotely like it.
It must be in Legends.
It's got to be a Legends.
Hopefully it's in Legends.
Yeah.
I honestly could not tell you.
Definitely
I might
Legends
just, like, if it's
for it,
not,
yeah.
I might just cheat and say it is. And if it hasn't got the rules I want, I might just say, look, here's the rules I'm using. If you don't want a game, that's fine. We can go to the bar.
You can just call it like a Storm Raven or a Storm, whatever that is. Yeah.
What's that Space Wolf thing that's like half of a ram?
Yeah, the Space Wolf boat thing.
I'll just say it's 2 of them and double the points cost and have you flying around together.
It's a squadron.
Yeah,
cool, brilliant. And then you've got some apothecaries as well, finally, there.
Yeah, they're for my Blood Angels, which... I don't think I've actually shown much of on here, but I've got a Blood Angels army that I bought much of it off of eBay and then added to it over time. I think I've posted 1 or 2 bits of it. So they're going to probably be the second to last thing I ever add to that in order to have 3,000 points without Sanguinius, and to play a little bit of Civil War. It's a thing the Warhead guys did, in which Heresy Hammer have been very keen on, and I've enjoyed playing it. So I want to play it a bit more, and these 2 are going to be in my assault squads, flying around with jump packs on in order to smite heretics. Yeah,
Russ there being one of the rare people who like Civil War. In this Tale of Four
From this Tale of Four Gamers, at least, I think I'm
sure there's some other people.
I thought it was good.
In our Tale of Four Gamers, I think I'm in a minority. Yeah.
I think it just needed a few tweaks. I thought it was pretty fun, though.
Yeah. I think it's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, brilliant. Good. I agree. Anyway. Great. Look, that's tons of updates. There's tons of stuff there. You've been very busy, Russ, and it's good to see some more Astral Claws as we approach the inevitable siege of Badab. Also, as I was reminded when me and Craig from the Discord were writing missions for the next phase, phase 4 is the phase the Lamenters get knocked out of the war. So good timing. Phase 4 is when the Minotaurs turn up, and the absolute first thing they do is stop the Lamenters being a thing. Good luck everyone doing that chapter. I'm sure some escaped. So Bobbie, you also have an update, and you've also done some interesting shopping. Tell us all about your lovely trip to Salute?
Yeah, I had quite a good time at Salute. I managed to see loads and loads of people that I only see at Salute.
Yeah.
I did dive straight to my friend Chris's setup of Ontos Games. He makes a lovely line of rock naught.
Yeah.
Definitely not space dwarfy.
Very retro squats.
No, I've already got quite a few of them. I got some of the first squad he did, and then I pledged on a Kickstarter he did recently, so I got some bikers and other bits and pieces. I also picked up a few miniatures from Crooked Dice. Again, definitely not inspired by anything else. Time traveling chaps and their companions. Some lovely sculpts. Really characterful and some very quirky costumes. I wonder.
The shooty gat one there's brilliant. Yeah.
I also picked up one of the John Hodgson background books over from Bad Squiddo. I've already got a couple of them, really like them, and I just wanted some more sci-fi ones. And I was actually quite good this year and didn't pick up any rules. I normally end up buying a rule book, and I was very, very tempted. I was talking to Paul Hicks over at the Footsore stand. Paul's awesome, a really talented sculptor and does a lot of historical stuff. But he's starting a new thing where they're doing some fantasy stuff. They've got a new skirmish game called Warhost, which is based on Baron's War, which is really popular sort of medieval era skirmish game. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to pick that up when it's available online, which I think it might be already. But and really nice miniatures, like very Tolkien-y orcs and trolls and stuff, rather than like Warhammer style stuff.
Yeah, it looks great.
I have also done a bit of actual progress on my Badab stuff. I've not done a huge amount. I've managed to cobble together another Razorback for my Nova Marines.
Great.
Not that Razorbacks are ever that useful for my armies, but I've had some of the bits, and I've been very slowly gathering all the parts I need to put one together. I think it's going to be an unlucky vehicle because it's made out of both Dark Angels and Space Wolves parts put together. It's just never going to get itself together. The only actual work on miniatures other than that I've done is more work on my heavy servitors, the fantasy ogres that I'm making into like augmented ogrins. I've done a little bit more work of like sculpting bionic guys on them and putting special cables and whatnot on those. They're slowly getting there. They still need a bit more sci-fiing up, but I think I'm going to get there with them eventually. I don't know if I'm going to bring AdMech to the next event because we're doing 140k and allies aren't really a thing.
Yeah,
I'm just going to bring 1,000 points in Nova Marines, which is going to be quite nice and easy. I've got a list that's just like Terminator Captain, a Librarian, 2 tactical squads, 5 Assault Marines, 5 Terminators, 2 Rhinos, and a Predator Annihilator, which sounds like an awful lot of miniatures for 1,000 points, but apparently that's what you get.
That's how 40k works. That's brilliant. It's such a good thing. I agree. I think it's going to be difficult to get your AdMech painted up in time to do that for the next one. But also, the AdMech pop up in the phase after that. They're quite prominent from the phase after that. In fact, there are some special missions. So
that's fine then.
Yeah, maybe that's a goal. Is like go for phase 5 is Angstrom really getting involved. But because there's a few special missions, the Angstrom incident pops up in phase 5. But yeah, that all looks fantastic. There's so much there. I like the little 7TV things. I like the little gang of different things. I particularly like the giant chain axe on that heavy servitor. Yeah,
servitors look great.
Bobbie has done loads of things, but unfortunately, everyone's many things pale in comparison to the number of things Gary wants to tell us about.
Small little pile.
Gary, how was your trip to Salute?
Yeah, it was great. I just sort of whizzed around, took, I've grabbed a lot early, and then I sort of had to pace myself a little bit more. I think
we started doing this whole thing, like we started doing it very methodically, right? We were going row by row, up and down each row and trying to stay together and agreeing not to split up at the end of each row so that we could see everything. And we got exactly halfway, went for lunch, and then that all went to shit.
Yeah. It just was like every man for himself.
Yeah. So yeah, what'd you get?
First thing, as soon as I saw it, the Hereford joisting, that was like an instant purchase. You guys were still looking at the table, and I had the book in my hand and signed by the man himself, which was great. I'm looking forward to that a lot. I've already been thinking how to make the boards and stuff, and what models might be best, you know.
I think this is one of the ones that I'm quite excited out for having the gaming space, is that we can do really easily, because it'll be a permanent setup, all those videos where we let's play all the weird games really, really easily. And I want to do one of these. So
definitely. I want to be part of that.
Yeah, we can just easily go, right, tonight we're going to make the Harefoot jousting video and play it like 3 times. And it's easy, right? Permanently set up.
Yeah, so I got that book. And then just around the corner, I was looking at Die Hard Miniatures. I was sitting just ready, and then Bobbie came up. She knows the guy that works there, like the sculptor. And I've really sort of got suckered into it. I just, every time I sort of had like 5 ready, it was like, then it was 10, and then it was 15. You know, but yeah, the robots just looked amazing. So I got those.
These are just random robot models, right?
Yeah, that's they look really sort of like they're Star Wars-y 2000 AD. A little bit look like the ones from that episode of is it Love, Death, Robots?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah. I was just like, I have to have those, paint them. Hopefully I can do as good a job as they've done on the display models. When you go to Salute, you get to meet people who are like these small operations.
Yeah.
So this guy had all basic materials that are all handmade.
You're right.
So he makes them himself. Some were really novel. It was like there was a Necron basic material, which was like all this black sand with these little green crystals in it. And it was, the green crystals were smashed green balls mixed in with the black sand. Yeah, but when you just randomly shake it, you'll get a random amount of green crystals in your base.
You just don't want to pick up models by the base.
What's the name of the company that are making that stuff? It's not big enough in the logo on the
Pemberley's of Baker Street.
Pemberley's of Baker Street.
Yeah. Don't pick up their Necron models by the base.
I imagine it's ground down enough that it's safe, you know. Maybe not. You know, there were slight inconsistencies in the color, but like I picked up 2 black sand bags and they were both slightly different because it's handmade. I get the feeling that I could just mix them together and then I'll have one color. And I bought those for my new Imperial Guard. So it makes it really quick and easy. I can just put glue on the black base and then put black sand on top and it'll be done.
Yeah.
And so that was the basing company. Then as I was passing Spectre Miniatures, I saw that they had Lunar, which has been on my radar for ages. It's an American company, Black Site Studios.
Yeah.
But importing from America was hard, and now it's going to be a nightmare. It just seemed like the cost was going to be, you know, like 40% of the product to import it. Put me off importing. Then Spectre Miniatures stock it. So yeah, as soon as I saw the rule book, they'd sold out of the main box, which you get 3 astronauts of Russia, 3 astronauts of
America.
NASA.
Yeah.
So I basically assembled my own. I've got the rule book and 2 5-man gangs.
I think this is going to be a fun one, particularly because I really want you to use your Grobniks for it that we saw last time. I want to do like space freelancers get space well-known American space freelancers get shot by evil robot aliens.
Yeah.
They're much fun.
I also have those space skeletons as well. So, you know, missions go bad.
Your die-hard skeletons.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that, you know, like a little bit of skirmishing on the moon. Like, who doesn't want to do that? Yeah, then I picked up, as I was passing the Mantic stall, I got they did call it their event model but it's also on their web store, so it's just a less easy to get model, I guess. But they had it, so I grabbed it. That was £15. That's the professor holding the baby Hellboy. I grabbed some more Deep Cut Studio train blobs, which they don't sell on their website. They only sell them when they go to events.
They're like offcuts, aren't they?
I think they must be made from offcuts.
Yeah.
I think that they're they must have like a punch that they just punch into bits that are left over, and that goes in the basket where you can flick through. It's good to sort of check what textures they have amongst all their stuff. And
I got 7 of them as well, because it's 7 for a tenner, which is just like, well, for 10 quid you might as well.
And, you could go through and get like 7 green ones and then put forests on them. They would work quite well as that.
Yeah.
I believe maybe a lot of people use it for that, like as area terrain. But I use them for photography basing. They just go really well with the John Hodgson books. All you'd have to do is paste a little something underneath it so that it's not as flat. It sort of bends like that, or up at the ends. Helps obscure the line between the image and the floor. The next morning I did a shot with one of my Fimar, just using the green one and the Ruins book.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah, that was all my stuff. That's everything.
It's a good shopping spree there, Gary.
Yeah. It was a little bit more than I set out to do, but.
And then also, you haven't stopped there, because you've also started an entire new Badab army in Badab Progress Time.
Yeah. So I've basically wanted to get my Steel Legion done for a while. It was either always going to get done during a Badab thing or the Krieg thing. You know, what one campaign or another was going to get trench guys going. Started off by building their chimeras. They're all assembled, base coated, magnetized on the shoulder of the hull, where you can pop on and off a hunter killer missile.
Oh, very good.
Because you get everything for free now in 40k. So it just annoyingly means you have to paint everything as well. Like now you've got to paint the bulldozer blades, the spotlight, the missiles have to get done. I'm not going to do the heavy stubber that the guy at the top, or grenades. I'm just going to say that he gets out of the hatch, he shoots his gun, and he goes back in.
Gary, so have you given them all heavy bolter sponsons? Heavy bolter parts?
So the multi-meltas are getting painted separately. At the moment, I've got those just on like the old, before magnets, everybody just put a long metal pin on the end of the gun. You could just pull it in and out of the tank to swap your guns. I've just done that. And I don't like it. I'll probably magnetize it. Magnets are just so more satisfying when they just click into place, and sort of counted out what I've got, and then I realized I've got enough to do like maybe 3 command squads and 3 or 4 regular squads, and then I had 8 plasma gunners, 4 grenadiers. The 6 missile teams are interesting, but it's a bit annoying now that if you're going to take a heavy weapons team, you're going to want las cannons. Right, because you're not paying for the gun. There's very little reason to not take a las cannon, I don't.
But conversely to that, you then decided to make them all mortars anyway.
Yeah, I decided that the rule of cool is more important than las cannon. Because I had so many bodies that are not holding anything at the moment because the flamers and the meltaguns all fell off. I decided to butcher some more, do the same thing to some more. Took a push-fit mold of the shell guy who's the loader for the missile team. Yeah. So made a mold of him holding the shell, then stuffed that with green stuff so I could copy his hands holding the shell. Yeah. And then I transferred that onto the other bodies who are all walking around. So now I've got a bunch of guys walking around holding shells, which I can put next to mortars, and there'll be mortar crews busy about their business. Yeah. And also las pistol arms, or? All right, yeah. So I also decided that I didn't want all 6 missile guys to be the same pose. So I pulled 3 of the missile guys' arms off, and then they've got a hand which is doing this, which is normally holding the missile launcher. Mm-hmm. So that was very easy to just put a little gribbly in there to be binoculars. I used heavy bolters from Imperialis, because it just had a round bit on the end and able to make a nice little monocular type shape.
Looks like Luke Skywalker's binoculars from the start of episode 4.
Yeah. But that meant I had no arm on the other side. And the models are actually supposed to be armed with las pistols anyway. So I just made copies of the Sergeant las pistol arm. It's a little bit awkward because it's in a sort of shooting pose.
Yeah. So he's just sort of weirdly holding it down, stuck out. But it looks okay.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It looks fine.
They'll be in the middle of a squad. No one's really going to be paying that much attention to them. So, yeah, I just got carried away over like 3 days and ended up with finishing 6 mortars, 6 missile teams still intact. So I've got 12 altogether. I think that's enough.
You include that many in the army? I don't know how the one.
Well, I was asking this in the Discord because there is a sort of loophole. You're only allowed 3 of anything, and they come in squads of 3.
Yeah.
So
fine.
in theory, the most you're allowed is 9.
Yeah, of each
12.
Yeah. Okay.
But each heavy weapon team, if it's got a different name, you can use it. So I can use 9 Cadian heavy weapon teams, and then I can use 9 Kachin heavy metal
that's going to get confusing, though, isn't it?
No, because the only difference really in them is what their special rule is, which is like one of them has bring it down built in, and the other ones have when they get charged, they can make a reaction or something.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 times out of 10, I think it'll be fine. Discord didn't answer anyway, so it's obviously not that bothered. You know.
Yeah.
Frankly, the sort of people we play against, I don't think anyone's going to care all that much.
Yeah. And we're also probably going to... You've also just got options, right? You could just not take all of them.
Could just not take all of them, or say, do you mind if I have 12 of these rather than mixing and matching the rules? And most people go, yeah, that's easier.
Yeah.
Or else I'll do it the hard way.
Yeah. They're all the same points, right? It shouldn't make any difference. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're all going to be at the back of the board, either, so...
Brilliant. Well, Gary, you certainly bought a lot of things and built a lot of models. What a massive update you have done. Oh, dear. Mine's tiny by comparison. So, yeah, I basically I haven't got any... I've put all my photos of Salute at the other end of this video. I haven't got any different ones because I basically bought the smallest amount of stuff. I bought Harefoot Jousting because that looks brilliant. And I also discovered that I was tempted every time I've gone to one of these events for the last couple of years. I've bought Moonstone models that I've never used, and they're all in a pile, and I really need to paint them. And then I went and looked through, and it turns out, so Harefoot Jousting is quite fun because on the flip side of it, you've got Wartnose Jousting, which is the secret goblin version.
Yeah.
If you turn the book upside down and start at the back, you get to Wartnose Jousting. And when I look through my Moonstone models, I've already got 3 goblins riding things. I've got a goblin riding a dog, a goblin riding a lobster, and a goblin riding a tiny ship. So I reckon that's my goblin gang done, and it means I can finally get my Moonstone models painted. So that's good. And then the other thing I did was buy some pigments because I knew we were going to do all this weathering on terrain. Mm-hmm. So I got some AK streaking effects, and it turns out that Dirty Down, everyone's favorite theatrical dye maker who make the rust effects that everyone uses, have released a new thing called Yellow Rust. So I've got Yellow Rust from Dirty Down as well, which I'm eager to try out. I'm a big fan of Dirty Down because they used to release, they're basically a big scenery, film industry, theatrical dye maker that make these spray cans of weathering dyes that you would use to make your props look old. And then they started licensing that years ago under a name called Model Mates. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That stuff you got there, and I've got some behind me. And eventually the Model Mates line closed, and they just started calling it Dirty Down again and making little pots of it. So it's the same stuff. It's just in little pots now.
The new pots are better. The old ones really dried out as well.
They did. They were like old Citadel pots. So anyway, I got the Dirty Down Yellow Rust. So I'm eager to try that out, and some AK streaking enamels, basically. So that would be good for weathering. And then the only other thing I've done that's all I bought from Salute, basically. But what I have done is I've done a bit of badabbing. So as you know, last time, 2 times ago, we realized that I probably need to be able to swing and play both sides. So last time, I rebased all my Tiger Claws, got that army functional, which is great. This time, I took the next step, which is starting out with the Red Scorpions. Now, I already have a Red Scorpion army. The Red Scorpion army has all the infantry done because I was doing it for Brax. but I did none of the vehicles and dreadnoughts. So that's been this month. I basically have spent the month covered in BioStrip, stripping models, a bit like Gary. I started out stripping all the old second edition models that used to be in my Tiger Claws. So now I've got a big bag of second edition metals that I can use for an army in the future. And I also did tons of tanks. And this is my colossal pile of tanks that I've done for the Red Scorpions. There's even more than this that aren't for the Red Scorpions. I did them all at once. But sitting here, I'm going to do, I've done a Land Raider. Well, actually, the first thing I did was assemble some dreadnoughts. I managed to pick up on eBay Carib Cullen the Risen, which is the Red Scorpions special Leviathan dreadnought. In the army I'm building for the Red Scorpions, it's based on the Siege of Vrax list, and they have a siege dreadnought in it. So this can be my siege dreadnought. It'll just be whoever was in there before Cullen. Then I have started with a load of Razorbacks and Rhinos, including the old metal Razorbacks and Rhinos, which you can just see down the bottom there. They need cleaning up and putting together. And then a couple of Vindicators and a Land Raider. The Land Raider is going to be a Land Raider Prometheus. This was assembled out of loads of spare parts. I was gluing and clamping random bits of track to it so that I can make it work. And then, there's a couple of Vindicators, old-fashioned Vindicators, which are going to be, which also are in the old Siege of Vrax list. So when I finish this,
there's a lot of metal on those, isn't there?
A lot, yeah. So it's because they've got all the big metal chunky side parts. So once this is done, I should have a Land Raider, 2 Rhinos, 2 Razorbacks, and 2 Vindicators, a Leviathan Siege Dreadnought, and 2 normal Dreadnoughts, which are all being painted at the same time for the Red Scorpions. And that should, by the time we get back to, the next event, mean that I have a full Tiger Claws and a full Red Scorpions army ready to go, which I think is useful. And then I can expand from there if I want. Okay, we're back on the Discord. Let's look at everyone's community updates. So we'll start with Warpwing, who I feel Warpwing always gets in pretty soon with this. Warpwing has been doing their salamanders. It's the month of HQ choices. Phobos Captain and Terminator Ancient made from some old models he had. These are loads of different character things. We've got a Telian here. Done as a salamander. Warpwing, actually, we bumped into. I think it's me and Nathan bumped into Warpwing at Salute the other day, and he showed us his Telian, and it looks fucking brilliant. And I think he'll be down at some of the events over summer, which is really nice.
I need to make sure I know. So one of the things I want to do, I want us to wear name badges with our real names and our. I need to remember to buy stickers for it. Or bring something
the hello, my name is.
Know who's who.
These are looking great though. These are really, really nice. This is
That's
Telian.
amazing, yeah.
And then we've got some Terminators.
Yeah.
As always, everyone.
Is that a Marnius Cal? No, it's just Two Fists, isn't it? Not Marnius Calgar himself, yeah.
I don't think so, but I might be wrong.
I think it's the old Terminator Calgar. It's like Marnius Salgar.
The wee Calgar, pre-Indomitus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
He's looking brilliant. That's looking really, really good. Yeah, absolutely looking lovely there. Always like wibbly wobbly salamanders. Everyone loves those. Tom has got some corpse takers for some Astral Claws, a Dreadnought, and a Land Raider Redeemer. Everyone likes a good Redeemer. Because they were a heresy model conversion kit of the time. They were in a lot of the Badab War. There's a lot of Redeemers in Badab and Vaprax.
So you've got remembered that I've got one of them in the cupboard I should bring.
Yeah. Nice Redeemer.
And it's painted.
Venerable Dreadnought there for the Astral Claws. And there's the Redeemer. And yes, my one is on its way for the Red Scorpions so that we can have a flame off. Looking brilliant there.
Have 2 of them for your one, so we'll flame you better.
I do enjoy how as we get through this campaign, more and more people are going, yeah, fuck it, Astral Claws, go for it.
Yeah.
It's because they're also so easy to paint. They're so quick to paint, and they're so easy to do, and they're such a characterful chapter. Yeah. Mezzopano. So Will has done some bad progress. He's done a little bit because, as we all know, Will has got a massive Heresy Death Guard army, and he was playing that Heresy Goonhammer event with the Talon Goonhammer event. So he had to paint loads of tanks. So he's just got a little bit of Phobos tactical update for the Howling Griffin. Just a few Howling Griffins taken from Death Guard, I think.
Yeah, it looks like he's just cleaning them up. Yeah.
What they called Clean Marines. And so that's looking great. So a little bit of progress there for Will's Howling Griffins. Ready in the next phase. Oh, Will's gonna miss the next phase, I think, and that's the phase where the Howling Griffins get killed at Chimera. So good choice. Yeah. Right. And then Schmo, Sam, very little painting because they spent their time converting up units for the Tyrant's Legion, working to match a lot of the Imperial Armor color plates, which is why this brilliant picture exists. And I've almost got 1,000 points built, but that's lots more to do before the event. So there's a tank that matches this color plate. That's the intention. And then there's I've seen this conversion on the Discord. It looks absolutely brilliant. It's a conversion based on this
Ancient
picture.
Clytor.
Yeah, Ancient Clytor.
I was the person who was like, "That's Ancient Clytor," and so was like, somebody realised. I'm like, "Yes, I know my Badab. I know my Badab."
The photography on that tank's amazing, though. It's like
it's really accurate.
It looks like it's straight out of a Forge World book.
Yeah,
his one. Yeah, it's like really clean.
Yeah, it's really lovely. And then you got Cletor, and then you've got some more Astral Claws there. I like the little sigils on top, the Maelstrom Warger sigil and the Astral Claws sigil on the top of the.
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
Some great Tyrant's Legion holding their 2-man heavy flamer team. I always like those old Krieg models when they do them. And then
of the Terminator, as they should be,
all coming along very nicely there. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, brilliant. Well done, Tim. Great. Welcome, Sam. Sorry. Yeah, looking great. Then, Jack, aside from the Tech Marines, 1,000 points is done. Behold, the 5th Company, Clan Atrophos of the Sons of Medusa. Here they are. And this is another, I love this. This is another brilliant Badab, extremely detailed reference. So we got a command, we've got some aggressors there. We've got some intercessors here. Brilliant, all looking good. And then we've got this.
Yeah.
And this is another direct reference to a color plate from the Badab books, which is a red Sons of Medusa Dreadnought with his arm blown off and a single green armor plate remaining. And this is the exact copy of that image. It's such a nice idea.
Yeah, love it.
Very, very good.
Really good.
Yeah, done with obviously with a modern dreadnought, but yeah, looking great.
Got the Tech Marine there to try and put the arm back on, I think.
Yeah. That's what the Tech Marine's big backpack thing should be holding, the other arm.
Yeah, definitely.
Stand still.
In a big claw. That'd be great.
Or you should have a couple of servitors following along, like
carrying
the arm in their turbo claws. That'd be amazing. I'd love that. That'd
brilliant.
be like instant favourite army vote if I saw that with the Tech Marines, the servitors following the Tech Marine and the dreadnought around carrying the arm.
Well, maybe even the arm just on the base and a Tech Marine and a servitor trying to like weld it. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, it looks brilliant. It's a really nice idea. There's also a floaty tank in the mix as well because this is a Primaris army. Yeah, brilliant. Mazu had to miss the last. I'll update you to Moving House, but the Exorcists are back and they've brought pals, Devastators and Cyrus Alberic basing material. No, another chat got me in the mood of painting some bases Goblin Green. So that's going to be a problem for the next month. Exorcist scouts need a check apparently. So here are some Exorcists. And here are some buddies of the Exorcists. And then finally, some scouts. Can you see the checkers there, Russ?
Yes, I've got it up on my own screen as well as on your screen there. You know what? I can't give them 10 out of 10.
I say
the spacing is perfect. I mean, they're very well spaced, and it looks. I'm going to go 7.5 out of 10 because they are very regularly spaced. I do appreciate the fact though that this was Mazu, wasn't it? I appreciate the fact they've then not done the whole shoulder pad. They've saved themselves some sanity by only doing it around the corners.
Very sensible.
There's no edge on it, so that makes it hard as well, right? The right pads, they don't have a rim.
No, it's just you can't do it in the middle. You'd have to put something in the middle to hide. The way they've done it there, if you carried that all the way around, it wouldn't actually work.
I feel like I could do like a a supercut of all the Tale of Four gamers at the end of this and call it "How to Paint Checks," based on all the tips we've heard and different methods we've seen of how to do that. Just in the last 7 hours of broadcast we've done about this project. Yeah,
it's like watching the swearing version of The Departed.
Yeah,
and actually, have you ever? There's an edit of The Departed where it's it's still about 7 minutes long, and it's just every time a character goes "fuck," then they edit out everything else around it and just like "fuck, fuck, fuck, motherfucker," and that's still 7 minutes of the movie.
It's like the I do like all those as a novelty idea. The absolute best one, of course, being that it's the Lord of the Rings cut where every single time it starts with Sam saying, "If I take one more step, this will be the furthest I've ever been from home." And then every single time he takes a step for the rest of the movie, they play that.
Yeah.
The other one is every single line where a woman speaks to another woman in the movie.
Oh yeah, that is that's like
a second and a half long.
It's a second and a half. Yeah, yep. Lord of the Rings. Oh dear. Anyway, right. Moving on. The Badab War has come back to us after a bit of an absence. 4 standard Marines and a Redemptor Dreadnought for the Fire Angels. I don't know where the Badab War is, but I really hope they can make it to one of the events because there's no Fire Angels yet. Maybe I'll have to do. Maybe that should be my 2nd edition army. Should be Fire Angels, just so that I can play them. So the Fire Angels. These are looking fantastic. White and red scheme, obviously coming along nicely there, looking very good. I do like how big that Dreadnought is. But Dreadnought's my attempt to make a bigger version of the traditional Boxnaught. It's not a complete recreation, but I'm happy with the change in silhouette. Yeah, looks really nice. Big long.
I wanted to biggerized Boxnaught. It's just trying to find the time.
Yeah, big long legs there. Looking great. Brilliant. So, Tim, more progress than the Tyrant's Legion. Command Squad Commissar Derek, Primaris Psyker Paulus Danielus. Yeah, very good. Liman Russ Punisher and Liman Russ. 1,000 points almost finished. Then it's on to 1,500 points to the final event. Can't make the next 2 events, unfortunately, as I have an inability to read dates. Sorry, Ian. But yeah, they'll be up for the second. So there's some great classics there from Primaris Psyker and the Commissar, the 3rd edition versions.
Yeah, that looks great.
Few Liman Russ tanks.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Paulus Danielus, the magician. And Commissar Derek, very good. All looking good.
Judge Fredicus Plodicus.
Yeah, it's like Judge Fredicus Plod from the old Silent War. Very good.
Yeah.
Looking great. That's going to be really good. You've got a few months to get it finished because, as I said, they'll be ready for the Siege of Badab. Kazoo Raptor, Welsh Ben. Very little fully done this month. Mostly been building and priming, but I did manage to get out half an Infiltrator squad. There we go for the Raptors, I believe.
Yeah, very nice.
Good. Very nice.
Raptor colour.
Yeah.
Then Andrew Dashborg, been a busy month for painting. Andrew's already booked himself into some events. Got a lot of the little dudes done for the Angstrom Ad Mech, which is I think Angstrom can pop up whenever we like, but their big moment to shine is the phase after phase 5. Most of their way there on the Minotaurs, who will arrive in phase 4 for the 1K game. Some Centurions characters and some others to bulk up the combat patrol. Finally, there's still some Cataphrons, robots, and Dream Crawlers to paint. Here we go. So we've got some Ad Mech. Oh, very nice. Engine Seer Datapith and some Techno Archaeologist. Got some of those spooky leggy people. Sakarans, I think they are. And some Vanguard and Rangers there, looking lovely. And a few things left to paint. Yeah, some robots.
Love the Castellans.
Yeah, looking really good there. These are lovely, aren't they? These are looking very good. Very tortured and blobby, yeah. Cataphron destroyers made out of Thalax is a nice idea as well. Yeah, really, really good. And then some Minotaurs bits, so Minotaurs Centurions. And Minotaur Standard Bearer, that's and the Chaplain, the old Heresy Chaplain there.
Ooh.
Some Tartaros, because Minotaurs do love a bit of Tartaros. They call it the wrong name, but they do love it. And then some regular guys. All looking really, really good.
Ooh.
Lots of progress there. Minotaurs are about to come in and completely wipe Lamentus off the map. Moo Belgium.
Ooh.
Moo Belgium's here. Not much this time, just my attempt to kit bashing a virtual Luftura on the matches, my 2nd edition Space Hulk Terminators.
Nice.
You can also just be a captain if someone doesn't need the tyrants. There's a captain with a flamer and a power claw to be Luftura on to match.
Now I want to do that.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, looking really good. I like the background there. That's a John Hodgson, isn't it?
It is a John Hodgson, definitely.
Yeah, brilliant.
Might be
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's the original one, yeah.
Yeah. Mingles, just showing off all the Nova Marines painted so far. So Nova Marines seem like they're going to be enforced next time. Since Feb, I've restored quite a few of the models I had as a kid, which is always, that's the whole point of this, really. Such as an almost full 10-man tactical squad and a Devastator squad. I also bought some second-hand Stern Guard. Next goal is to paint up a Land Raider and restore the old drop pod. So there's loads going on here. Looking great there, the Nova Marine army.
The Nova Marines are lovely. The weathering on
it's
the leg.
It's such a beautiful army in the flesh. Good. Yeah, in the lead. Yeah, beautiful little army there, looking great.
Yeah, that's smashing.
Yeah, really, really nice. Brilliant. Nice. There's a whole army going on. Very good. Oh, there's hold on. There's more. If I missed a few images, It's a different post. Yeah, all looking great there.
The close up of the Stern Guard looks really good if you zoom in.
Yeah, looking really, really good there.
It's such a nice army.
Yeah. Lots of Nova Marines at the next one. Right, Clarky. Haven't picked up a paintbrush in over a month due to life getting in the way, but have everything sorted for boarding actions and one kill list without buying anything, which is nice to do. They're going to print and paint some soldier pads for the Death Watch, do some Hell Blasters and Aggressors, and then a big mob of Intercessors. Very, very good. Won't be able to make the last two events, so going to get as many as they can done for this one. Very good. So, here is my Badab adjacent Carib column for the Risen kit mash for the Orange Space Marines. So at least been doing a bit of stuff, not much painting, but a bit of Leviathan Dreadnought making. Very nice there. Very good. Blood Feast Island Man, Ben. I missed the cutoff last time. That's because I foolishly only opened the submissions really, really late, which I did again this year.
Yeah.
This month. I mixed the cutoff last time. I painted a tactical squad since then. Going to do my old school Predator next. Going to convert up some Stern Guard using Deathwatch Volters as well. Yeah, very good. Here are some bits and bobs. So
the detail is amazing in these.
Yeah, these are lovely, aren't they? It's nice, some brightly coloured.
The Howling Griffins, these Howling Griffins and Will's Howling Griffins, but generally the Howling Griffins throughout this have been really good, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. It's one of those armies.
When I ever do a Primaris army, I think I'm going to do those Howling Griffins. I've always loved Howling Griffins, and these are just making me want to do it even more, just looking at other people's. They're so good.
Yeah. It's a really, really nice army, isn't it?
Yeah.
And really, really, like there's a nice combination of like they're grimy, but they still managed to keep them bright. It's really nice.
Yeah, really well done.
Some Heresy las cannons there, very nice. Yeah, it's a lovely looking little army. This
I think it's the consistency in the grey which holds it all together. That it's not all over the place.
Yeah, you go for it's basically red and yellow, and the rest of the colours are neutral.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, really, really nice there. Really nice. Brilliant. Looking very good. Then, Court of the Yellow King, my Sons of Medusa army, as it colourfully stands. This time around, I get a Terminator Librarian, a squad of Terminators, and 4 more Tactical Marines finished. All the minis are old metal ones from the 90s, while the Tactical Marines have modern plastic arms from the Horus Heresy range. Decided to get the Librarian black armour for complicated reasons involving the Moire Creed. Yeah, looking great.
Wow.
Yeah, these are great, aren't they? I love these... traditional old early 90s metal Terminators there with the old Terminator chaplain. I've got one of those. That's what a lot of these are the models that I've been cleaning up and stripping for the last month.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of these sitting around. The thing is about these as well, once again, the green, it's got a lovely saturated green for the that matches the Sons of Medusa colours.
Yeah.
But then the weathering has done a really good job of pulling that back whilst not getting rid of the vibrancy of the green.
Yeah, exactly. Same as those Howling Griffins. Yeah. It's because they're such bright schemes.
I might just start getting other people to paint my armies for me and pretend I've painted my own.
Yeah, go for it.
Because they're all better than me and it annoys me.
It's because they're such bright seams that these really... It's one of the things I've been doing for a while now is painting your models in absurdly bright colours means you can do loads and loads of weathering without it dulling the brightness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. It's a really good way to work. And these look lovely. Really good. Well done. Right. MC, at the end of March, I managed to assemble and prime all the units I'll need to take my Lamenters to 1,000 points and then immediately get distracted by other project hands, of course, immediately get killed by Minotaurs. Here's my prime Terminated Chaplain, turning in some vaguely bad adjacent things that painted this month, which is some Void crates. So, that's awaiting some checkers to be checked, but good progress still. Well done, MC. Good. My Sons of Medusa Force so far, says Wolverso. Wolvers Sibber, yes, brilliant. They'll be reinforced by a squad of Terminators. So here are some Sons of Medusa. It's nice that, you know what, all of these are, I really like the old Dreadnought and Predator there, looking great. But I like the fact that more and more as we go through this, the intention is being completed and people are starting to build things that look like armies. That's really, really good. So brilliant. That's our last update, is Wolves of Sibber. So well done, everyone. That's really, really nice, isn't it? We're starting to get things that look actually like armies, and we're starting to play games that are full-size, closely getting to full-size games where people can use them. So that's really nice. Well, there we go. Another episode done. By the time we do the next episode, I think we will have done the next event. So if you'd like to be part of it, I will say again, links below. If you're in or near London, you can come and play the Badab War with any vaguely Badab army. I was chatting to people. I posted this on Instagram, and I was chatting to them, and people were like, "Oh, can I bring my black shields? They're just painted black." And I was like, well, if they're just painted black, that's night camo anything. Stick like a big banner on the sergeant with a red scorpion symbol, and hey, night, that's it. That's all you need to do. If people want to come down and play, about a month from now, we will be doing our third to last event, the first of our new gaming centre. You can book for the whole weekend. You can come down and just play for one day if you like. We've got tickets for everything. And it's really nice to just see all these armies coming along and the chance for us all to actually play through the Badab War, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited about it again.
Yeah. It's going to be really, really fun. So thank you to everybody. I hope we all see you over summer. And if we don't, keep building. If you're on a different continent, keep building. It's lovely to see all the armies. Until then, thanks, everyone. Thank you, gamers of Badab. And we will see you next time. Thanks very much, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye.